Hey people, it's Jeff DeTellis from eatliveprimal.com, and this morning, having a great morning. We're getting bulletproof this morning, um, fresh off the heels of a very, very successful powerlifting competition last night, actually all day yesterday. We entered seven girls from our heavy metal club, which is a powerlifting club that we run out of the studio. And all seven girls took home first place trophies in all of their respective classes, and nine state records were broken between the squat, benching, and the deadlift. Just, I mean, what more can you ask for? Seven girls entered, seven girls win, and nine state records fall. Um, so throughout the day, as I was posting on the social networks, updating folks on the success that the team was having, I was hashtagging gym lifts don't count. And I do that quite often, not just on competition day. And I say it all the time. So I want to give an explanation of why I say gym lifts don't count. And I think it rubs some people the wrong way. And I think some people just uh, really wanted a legitimate, like, hey man, why do you say that? What's the difference really between a gym lift and just because you're doing it at a competition? So without being snarky, um, I'm going to try to give you an explanation. Powerlifting, first of all, it's to be understood that powerlifting is squatting, deadlifting, and bench pressing. It's only three moves. So that's to be understood first and foremost. It is a sport in and of itself. Um, it is you participate it in a specific venue. There's very specific equipment used. There are rules and regulations to the sport. There's different federations. There's bylaws to each individual federation. There's three judges at each event, and you have to perform. Not only do you have to perform these to the satisfaction of the judges, but you have to perform these exercises on command. So if you can, under those circumstances, and I'll break those down a little bit individually, if you can perform these power moves under those circumstances, that is much different than doing it in the gym. For instance, if I get a group of guys together and we go over to the local park and have a football game on a Sunday afternoon and we win, 16 weeks in a row, we don't get the Vince Lombardi trophy, because we're not playing in the NFL because of all those rules. The NFL is a federation. There's referees. There's standards. It's under the watchful eye of Roger Goodell, and there's a standard to be upheld. Which same thing with bodybuilding. You cannot just put pictures of you, Flex Friday on Facebook, and that doesn't make you a bodybuilding champion. You have to go to the venue. You have to register, man. Put your money up or shut up. Put the tanning stuff on. Learn how to pose. Get on the stage. Do the work. Be judged. Go into class against your peers. And you don't decide who the champion is. The federation and the judges do. So let's talk about something just as simple as equipment. If you want to do powerlifting, you can't use straps. You don't wear those cute little fingerless gloves, because your hands hurt. You can't do it. It's not part of the sport. You're changing the sport. So when you're in the gym, lifting on those foamy little waffle mats, which are horrible to be performing any exercise on. So if you're ever squatting or deadlifting, standing on rubbery foam, don't do it. Save yourself. And if your trainer has you doing it, get a new trainer because it's just horrible. You need a hard, flat surface. You should be using the right shoes. There's standards as far as what kind of socks you have to wear. You have to be wearing a singlet. There's reasons for all of this. You have to wear If you're squatting, there has to be a shirt under your singlet. If you're benching, there has to be a shirt under your singlet. If you're deadlifting, there isn't. There's reasons for that. I'm not going to give you all the explanations. It's up to you to learn the sport and do your homework. We take time as trainers, and as part of our heavy metal club, is we provide the coaching, the information, and prepping our clients. So when we do roll into a competition, the clients are confident in going in, performing their lifts, doing well, and the proof's in the pudding. We proved it yesterday with the results I told you at the beginning of this video. That's one reason why your gym lifts don't count, because you're not using the right equipment. The bars are a little bit different. The plates are different. They're kilogram plates. They're not the big rubber plates. They're not in pounds. Big difference. Not a real big difference, but big enough difference that your gym lift don't count. Doing a full meet, which yesterday's competition was a full meet. We met as a team. Everybody met at 7:40 a.m., drove to Niagara Falls. Rules meeting at 9. 9:30, first group of squatters get to warm up. 10 o'clock, the meet's supposed to begin. Started at about 10:15. First flight goes. Our first competitor is in the second flight, doesn't start lifting until after 11 in the morning doing the squats, while the rest of the team is just, waiting their turn, trying to keep their energy up, squatting out of a monolith. Okay? If you've never squatted out of a monolith, it's different than squatting out of a rack. You have to know the difference. If you are squatting raw, you have to step out of the monolith. If you're squatting in plied, single ply, multi-ply, you use the monolith as it's intended and you don't step back. If you don't know that and you send your competitor in, there's going to be some issues. You're going to get disqualified. Now, in the gym, you want to do your squat and do a little 6-inch squat and not break parallel. It doesn't count. There's 3 judges that are judging the depth of your squat. So you can sit there and tell me that you squat 405 all day and your ass is in the air, and when you come up, you take that little stutter step forward. That doesn't count, and that's why your gym lift doesn't count. Now, if you want to put up a 405 squat or whatever the weight is, I don't care what it is, if it's 100 pounds, it has to, first of all, be done with the proper equipment. Whether you're doing it in the monolith, you're doing it raw, and you have to step out of the monolith, have 3 judges from 3 different angles, professional judges, deciding if you are low enough. Not you and your gym bro deciding, oh yeah, especially the guy spotting you from behind. He can't see how low your ass got to the ground. Of course he's going to tell you it's good. He's going to give you a little boost under the arms, tell you you're good. What does he care? He's there to stroke your ego because you're a bunch of gym bros. That don't count. Like I said, you take a little stutter step forward on your lockout, that don't count. It'll count in the gym and you'll tell everybody you got 405 or whatever it is, but that's not going to count. That's not going to fly in competition. Your gym lift don't count. Then I believe it had to be maybe around 12:30 in the afternoon. We finally move on to bench. Now the rest of my team, who's been up since 6 in the morning, getting ready, still trying to keep their energy up, and for the bench, we start the benching. Regulation bench, there is regulations on where you can grip the bar, foot position, where you place your feet. When you're lifting, if your feet move, you're disqualified. Your butt gets off the bench, you're disqualified. You rack the bar before the judge tells you to rack it, you're disqualified. You can't step on the platform until the judge tells you. You have to have a pause at the bottom. You can't press the bar until the judge tells you. That's why your gym lift don't count. We're not taking 315, you pull it out of the rack, bounce it off your chest, and not even drive it straight up and drive it straight back to the rack, and that's your lift. Your gym lift don't count. There are 3 judges on the bench. You have to go on command. If you've never lifted on command, if you've never lifted with a pause, in a singlet, completely different beast. And if you don't think so, buck up and enter a competition and do it the right way. And then you can say you have a 315 bench or whatever your number is. Big, big difference. Get through the bench. Deadlifting didn't start till after 4 in the afternoon. This is a full meet. So now I have some girls that only entered the deadlift, some girls that are doing push-pull, bench, and deadlift, and some doing the full meet. By 4 in the afternoon, we've been just at the venue since 8:30 in the morning, all day long, trying to time your energy, food, a little bit of coffee, maybe a little energy drink, whatever everybody's doing. Everybody's got their own system. They know their body's best. Trying to stay amped up all day, keep the energy good for the team and the other competitors, cheering other people on, some nice camaraderie going. Now it's time to deadlift. Now you're going for a maximum deadlift. You already did 3 maximum squat attempts, 3 maximum bench press attempts. Now you have to deadlift on command. Again, with the signals. You can't lift till you're told to lift. You can't set the bar down till you're told to set the bar down. You can't hitch the bar on the way up. You can't, pop it up with your knees. You have to follow the rules. This is completely different than you rolling into the gym with a bunch of gym bros, at your convenience. If you're not feeling it that day, if the lift don't go up, no big deal. Come back next week. Not feeling it then, come back in 2 weeks. You catch a good day, you're striking while the iron's hot, and then boom, you pop it up. Yeah, that's great, but it didn't meet the standards. You did it at your convenience, and nobody judged if your butt was off the bench when you deadlifted, if you hitched it up on the way up on your deadlift. I'm sorry, if your butt was up when you're bench pressing, your depth was low enough on your squat, so on and so forth, and blah, 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 blah. So, that's my rant. Your gym lift don't count. I think everybody at this point can understand why if you want to have a record, if you want to brag about your lifts, enter the field of competition. Get in there and see what you got. And don't worry about what everybody else is doing, and put up your best number. And then you have something to beat. But until then, people are also ranting and raving about, well, we'll just leave it at that. I think I said enough on the subject. But congratulations to my team for putting in a great effort and knocking down some trophies and records. You guys rock.